hope you're feeling better than I am. I have a horrible cold right now, so hopefully you're not suffering from a cold and you enjoyed your break. And you use this week to work on your paper a little bit. So your paper's due this Friday at 5 p.m. If you need an extension, let me know, okay? You're picking out a policy or a state law that you're going to talk more about and discuss from your personal view and how it would affect you as an administrator. If you're having trouble struggling with what to pick, attendance, discipline, technology user agreements, field trip, policies on field trips, and fees for sports participation, those are all really good ones that cause a lot of controversy a lot of times. 5 to 6 pages. Remember, you're going to include a personal perspective on that, and I'll look forward to reading them. All your other work has been really good. Okay, so this week we're talking about student discipline, and they talk about suspension. Suspension is being used when other means of correction have failed. So it's not your first go-to, even though sometimes kids make you crazy. They do crazy things. It shouldn't be your first thing that you do with a child. If this is the first time a kid has come into your office, unless they've really hurt somebody or they brought a knife, your first thing that you're going to do with them is going to be counseling and helping them get through it and understand what's going on. It's probably not going to be suspension, depending on what the child has done. Most school districts still have a zero policy for guns on campus, knives, and knives have to be, over 3.5 inches. If they've got a locking blade, that's even worse. Explosives and sexual assault. Sexual assault being, rape or grabbing somebody. It has to be sexual assault, not just sexual harassment, unless it's ongoing. They talk about zero policy going away, but I think those will always be things that kids are, expelled for. Sometimes marijuana or drug use, depends on how much they have on their person, but it's not so. Used to be if a kid had any kind of marijuana or any kind of drug on them, they were immediately expelled. Not so much anymore. So if you're seeing that change on campus, there's reasons for that, because the federal government says stop suspending children. When you get to the place where you have to expel a kid, you as an administrator have to have a lot of documentation. You can't just walk in there and, we've tried these 3 things and it didn't work, so he's got to go. You're going to have an informal behavior plan that you've tried with the child. You're going to have lots of documentations on what things worked, what things didn't work, contact with the parent, contact with the teacher, classroom observations. You have to have all of that before you can move for an expulsion, unless it's like, a loaded gun on campus. I had a 5-year-old once that we took in for an expulsion because the little boy was having a hard time. And I remember going in, and he was sitting there like an angel with Grandma before the expulsion panel, and they were all kind of looking at me like, what is wrong with you? This little boy looks like an angel. And then we went into the conference room to talk about expulsion, and his head started spinning around. He's jumping on the table and screaming and pulling down the curtains, and finally, everybody had these shocked, horrified looks on their faces. Finally, the little boy came and sat on my lap, and we just kind of sat and played a little bit, and they said, well, he seems comfortable with you. I said, well, yes, he should. We spend lots of time together in my office because he's not able to conduct himself in a regular classroom. He was eventually placed in an emotionally disturbed class because he needed a little bit more support. Nice kid, but had some problems that we couldn't fix in general ed. So when you get to a kid that has special ed, you're going to have a functional behavior analysis done if the behavior continues on and is disruptive. Is it part of their disability, or is it just bad behavior? You got to find that out, and there might have to be a behavior intervention plan. Those are really long and take a lot of time to do, so it's got to be something that you really believe that is part of the disability and you need more help with. You also had 2 articles to read, and I don't know if I'm just sick and I didn't like it, but this article by Daniel Crimmins on It's Lonely at the Top. I don't know, I was negative towards it. It felt to me like that he wanted teachers to be psychologists and understand all these things about kids, and I thought, teachers know some things, and they know they can control a classroom and they can take care of kids, but sometimes when we get to those really severe problems, we need the help of a psychologist or a team to help us out, not just that one teacher. So maybe I took that article wrong, but it kind of irritated me. The next article was about a special education class for people with behavior problems and emotional disorders. And they had some good points, but I thought they were good points for everybody. One of the things that they said worked in the classroom was giving a lot of positive encouragement to kids, a lot more than the negatives. Well, that works with every child. So it's a good plan for everybody to put in place, probably more scheduled. I used to have a little boy that I worked with, and we had to praise him every 3 minutes, since we had like a little buzzer on our hip that would kind of buzz, and then we'd remember to say something nice to him, and it really did help him improve his behavior. Catch it early, make sure you're stopping those behaviors early, and then address behaviors not only in inappropriate behaviors, but also in culture and context, and figuring those things out. I think those are good ideas for every classroom. Much more probably scheduled and overseen in a special education classroom, but they could work for everybody. So as an administrator, the things that you're going to work on with a new teacher would be helping set up a behavior management in their classroom. And one of the articles said behavior management is a system, which I thought is really good, and helping them get that system in place to help support children's learning. So have a great week. Email me if you have any questions on the paper, and I'll see you later.